This is the City University Construction Fund, and we have the following, let me just step back. I'm calling the meeting to order. I'm noting the presence of a quorum. Action items. Approval of the minutes of the July 7th, 2022 meeting of the fund, item number 2391. Any amendments to the minutes? Any discussion? Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. I'm going to call for a vote. Only respond if you don't approve or you're abstaining. Okay, carries unanimously. I will now move the second resolution and present item 2 for the board's consideration. The trustees of the City University Construction Fund Audit Committee considered one item at its meeting of October 20th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Here is the resolution listed in this board meeting agenda as item 2. Okay. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund approving the annual certificate for fiscal year 2024, number 2390. Resolved that the Fund's Board of Trustees approved the annual certificate for fiscal year 2024, dated October 20th, 2022, in the form attached hereto. And be it further resolved that the acting chairman of the fund is hereby authorized and directed to execute and deliver the annual certificate on behalf of the fund. I hereby request your approval of this calendar item. That concludes my report. Can I have a motion for this item, please?
Where should I ask my question?
As soon as I get
Okay.
a motion.
Thank you.
And I'm going to open it for that.
So moved.
So moved. Okay, is there any discussion or questions? Please,
Yes.
Senator.
Yes, I have a question. The report on page 20, note 6 of the report. This deals with an agreement in terms of Memorial Sloan Kettering and Hunter College. Can I assume that the item on the agenda is simply to approve the audit and not the transfer of property and any agreements contained within the resolution? It's simply to confirm the audit.
That's correct, Chair. Where the approval here is to confirm the audit statement that has nothing to do with the property itself.
And that I assume there will be a vote in the future on the transfer of the property, if it is so decided, and to continue with the program that was announced in a press release, I guess it was last week. There will be a future vote on that rather than approving it at this point.
The announcement, there is no approval to this announcement at this point included in this agenda.
Thank you. I would like the record to reflect that many questions have been raised by my colleagues about this proposal. I was notified about the proposal about 4 hours before the press conference was held. My colleagues who contacted me are very concerned about the lack of transparency in announcing this. This is a large proposal, a $1.6 billion proposal, which may very well be very significant for CUNY's future, but at the same time, we've got to make sure that all of the stakeholders are involved, and that's the reason that I raised the question. And I thank you for your answer. I will vote for it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call for a vote on this item. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or no votes? No. Okay. Carries unanimously. I will now move the third resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing requirements contracts for plumbing services related to university capital projects, 2392. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to award the CUCF 2022 plumbing requirements contracts each with a not-to-exceed amount of $30 million, and each with an initial term of 3 years, and 2 one-year extensions, and to provide funding for task orders in an aggregate amount not to exceed amounts indicated for each of the contracts. I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to give an explanation of this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This resolution is part of our continuous effort to build our administrative infrastructure to enhance our team's capacity to bid and build projects independently. And we are bringing today 5 requirements contracts. This is the first of them. And we have issued plumbing requirements contracts solicitation to support the university's goal to expand, improve, and renovate university's facilities. We are seeking to award 6 plumbing contracts in this solicitation, and this solicitation has been reviewed by the Office of the State Comptroller and has set the MWBE participation goal at 30% and the SDVOB goal at 6%. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call for a motion on this item.
So moved.
So moved, thank you. Is there any discussion, any opposition?
Yes, which
Yes,
campuses are affected by this $30 million?
This is actually a system-wide contract, will cover all the 25 campuses, and the 30 million could be in any other project. Like, we don't have the projects right now, but that's a limit for the contractor.
So in other words, we're approving a contract without knowing the institutions that will receive the funding.
It's for CUNY, and the service, the requirements contract is with City University, with the university, and it will be utilized to award to the individual campus or the individual project. So we don't have the specific projects now. Yeah, that's correct.
So at a subsequent meeting, you will let us know how the 30 million is being used?
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Senator?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm going to call for a vote on this motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I will now move the 4th resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing requirements contract for roofing services related to university capital projects, 2393. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to award the CUCF roofing requirements contract, each with a not-to-exceed amount of $50 million, and each with an initial term of 3 years and 2 one-year extensions, and to provide funding for task orders in an aggregate amount not to exceed amounts indicated for each of the contracts. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed Attaya to give an explanation on this item.
You can leave. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. As described in the resolution, as we mentioned the earlier explanation, we have issued a roofing requirements contract solicitation to improve university facilities. We are seeking to award 3 roofing contracts, and this has been reviewed by the Office of the State Comptroller and will also provide MWE participation of 30% and SDOVP of 6%. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm calling for a motion on this item, please.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Any discussions, questions? Sure,
Question.
please.
When there's a 2-year extension, does that mean that there could be increased costs above the $50 million?
No, the value of the contract will
The value
remain throughout.
stays
Yeah.
flat, so even if it goes longer, we have an extension, we're not authorizing.
Yeah, we're not going over, yeah.
Okay. Senator?
What troubles me, and obviously I will vote for this, is, and it's really tied into what I said earlier, many of our CUNY facilities are crumbling. They're old, and we've got to take a look at whether it pays, and I've said this to the Vice Chancellor. We've got to take a look to see if it pays to replace or to fix. And I think that is something that I think we have to take a look at, because if you're putting all of that money into a couple of structures, I mean, going back to the Hunter College issue, they have a building there, the North Building, that is in desperate need of repair. And we've got to make sure that the buildings are safe for the students and the faculty and anybody else who visits. So I will vote for it, but we've got to keep that in mind, I think.
That's correct, Senator. And one of the resolution coming here today is we are awarding to Facility Condition Assessment Company to conduct a system-wide
Good.
condition assessment for all the buildings, and that will help us with exactly the point.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call for a vote on this motion, on this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. I will now move the fifth resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing requirements, contracts, windows, services related to university capital projects, 2394. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to award CUCF 2022 requirements contracts, each with a not-to-exceed amount of $15 million, and each with an additional term, with an initial term, of 3 years and 2 one-year extensions, and to provide funding for the task orders in an aggregate amount not to exceed the not-to-exceed amounts indicated, bless you, for each of the contracts. I will now
God bless you.
I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atayi to give an explanation of this item.
Bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As described in the resolution, we have issued a Windows requirements contract solicitation for the same purpose, to improve university facilities, and we seek to award 2 requirements contracts, and this contract has been reviewed with the Office of State Comptroller, and it asks for an MWVE utilization for 30% and SDOVP utilization of 6%. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call for a motion on this item, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Any, Senator, any questions, concerns?
I have a question.
Sure, absolutely.
So we're passing these resolutions, and they have dollar figures attached to them. I'm just curious, how do you come up with the dollar figure? So when they're sitting in, one was 50, this is 15 million, are there projects in mind that you're thinking this is what it's going to go for? And if so, can you talk about, what this would go for?
That's a wonderful question, actually, and that very question that has been the subject of a very lengthy discussion with the Office of the State Comptroller. And they raised the same question, and we had this discussion, and it comes from the fact that the volume of requirements in this particular component, based on the volume of how many roofs that needs work, or the volume of windows, and our prediction of how many projects within the life of the contract that will be able to issue. So this is why you see a 30 million in one contract and 15 million of one contract.
But on the to the executive director, to the windows, for 15 million, after this is done, are all the windows done in the CUNY buildings for the next 3 years, or do we come back and does this take care of a certain piece of them? I'm just curious to.
We have 2 contracts here for 15 million, and this is for the life of the contract that is 3 years. So I think the answer is no. This $30 million or 15 and 15 will not take care of all windows, but we envision within the 3-year window that will be the level of investment that we will make. And if there is a need for more, for sure we'll come back to you with a revision, if any. But that's our initial prediction at this point.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay,
Yeah, I have one
yeah,
question, I'm sorry.
certainly, no, please.
We have, in past years, we have approved specific contracts for windows, as an example, at different campuses. Why is this a general appropriation rather than the specific contracts that we've seen in the past?
Because what we're doing here with this approval is we are bringing a requirements contract with those contractors so that to facilitate the procurement process. Rather than going the overall, and this is why the state controller was involved in this process, rather than for every single window, we go out for a full-fledged tender that takes about 5-6 months. Through this process, we shorten the procurement period to probably 3-4 weeks. So that saves a lot of time, plus to enable us to have on our list qualified contractors to work with us. Once we bid and we have an award, then we bring that for approval if it meets the threshold that we bring to this table for approval.
And the second part of the question is this being financed out of the state appropriation for the capital budget?
Yes, this is a source of fund.
So these funds are coming out of the capital budget that we approved in April of this year?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. I will now move the sixth resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing requirement contracts for real estate leasing representative services 2395. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to award 3 real estate lease services requirement contracts on a geographic basis and 1 contract to a tenant-only representative for a total of 4. I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to give an explanation of this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we're aware that the university very often seeks to lease properties in order to accommodate programs and to deliver our service. And in this contract, we are seeking the award of 4 requirements contracts with a term of 3 years plus 2 years option to renew to those real estate requirements contracts. And please note that the compensation for these contracts will be paid by a third-party landlord in any leasing transaction. So this is not money that the university will spend. It will be paid by the third party, but we still organize this requirements contract to facilitate our work.
Okay. Okay, could I have a motion on this, please?
Moved.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no opposition or abstentions, motion carries unanimously. I will now move the 7th resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing contract for facilities condition assessment. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to enter into the Facilities Condition Assessment Services contract with VFA Inc. and provide funding in an amount not to exceed $3,426,603. I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atala to give an explanation of this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as mentioned in previous meetings and also in previous presentations, that is one of our strategic actions is to conduct condition assessment survey. And I believe it was brought by the senator in earlier resolution this morning for the need of this work. So in order to achieve the state of good repair, it is necessary to conduct a facility condition assessment of the university's owned facilities to identify both current facility deficiencies and building systems components and finishes requiring future repair. This system and this work will establish the estimated current replacement value and associated facility condition index, the FCI. It's a quantifiable measure for the condition of a component or a building or a campus. For each building component, and develop multi-year capital asset budgets, and obtain an optimization tool to identify the most cost and time-efficient combination of critical maintenance upgrades. It will also provide a computer system to continuously track the health of a building as we move forward and continue to forecast and prediction. And in this contract, we have also asked for MWBE 30% utilization and SDVOP 6%.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion, please?
Do so move.
So moved. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, I'm now going to ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no opposition or abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Resolution number 8, resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing Colden Theater HVAC dehumidification project at Queens College, number 2397. This is a resolution to authorize NYPA to proceed to construction and complete the Colden Theater dehumidification project in an amount not to exceed $11,000,005. I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed to give an explanation of this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Colden Theater Auditorium and Lobby experienced high space humidity and condensation during summer months while maintaining the temperature. The scope of work includes all new air handling units with variable speed drives and will replace the existing heat exchangers and hot water pumps. All HVAC system controls will also be upgraded to the Siemens system, which will allow automated control of the building ventilation. Construction is anticipated to commence in November 22 and be substantially complete by November 23. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call for a motion. Sen.
I do so move.
Thank you. Any
And
questions or
I attest to the
discussion?
need for, they use Colden Auditorium for graduations as well as other productions. It happens to be in my Senate district.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Know it very well, and I happily move this resolution.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Resolution number 9, final. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing requirements contracts for construction managers/build services related to university capital projects. This is a resolution to authorize CUCF to award the CUCF 2022 CM bill requirements contracts, each with a not-to-exceed amount of $50 million, and each with an initial term of 3 years and 2 one-year extensions, and to provide funding for task orders in an aggregate amount not to exceed the not-to-exceed amounts indicated for each of the contracts. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed to discuss this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This CM build contract is the last requirements contracts we're performing here today. And we've issued a CM build requirements contract solicitation, and we seek the award of 8 CM build contracts. It has been discussed and approved, reviewed with the Office of the State Controller, and it will provide also asked for a participation of 30% MWBE and 6% SDOVP.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Questions, concerns, discussions? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. And in terms of reports of the chair and of the acting chair, the next meeting of the City University Construction Fund will be held on Thursday, December 15th at 9:30. This is subject to maybe being moved if people can't make it. So Senator please check your schedule and get back to us. Excuse me. If there's no further items of business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.